Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Psychosin Podcast. Things got to be a bit different this week as unfortunately Benedict, or Attic Ghost as he's otherwise known, is busy. He's on call with work again. One day we'll have him back, I just don't know when. Also, Natalie and Joe, who usually join me for the podcast, or have been over the last few weeks, technology's not been their friend this week. Basically, they may have accidentally stepped on their laptop, which means their laptop is cracked and broken. Also, the phone that they were using for the previous podcasts has also stopped working properly, and her new phone, Natalie's new phone, for some reason won't run Skype, which is how I usually do these podcasts. So, it's going to be a one-man podcast, which is going to feel a little strange. I didn't know whether to call it a podcast or not, but you know what, sod it, I might as well. So it's going to be my voice. It's probably, well, very, very doubtful it's going to be anywhere near as long as the usual editions of the podcast, but I thought I'd give you something, as I've been a little bit skimping on the content on the channel in the last few weeks. Reasons for that being, one, I've just been sent no real albums, to be honest with you. When it comes to the gaming stuff, I'm still trying to sort out in my head what I want to play and cover, and how to record some of it. And basically, I've just been trying to catch up and sort myself out a job, on which I have some news on that front. As of Tuesday next week, I have indeed found myself a job, so I will be working, which means the video output will slow down. Not as bad as it has been the last 2 weeks, but it will slow down, as obviously I won't have as much time to be creative, as it were. But I'll continue the channel, and hopefully maybe I'll start making some money out of it as well, despite the current YouTube adpocalypse, as it were, which I'll go on to in a minute. 1 second, just need to swig a drink. Now, the YouTube adpocalypse has already hit me. I've had a fair few of my videos that were previously monetised have now been marked as either not suitable for advertisers or not suitable for all advertisers, which is just because they may have one or two little swear words in there. Admittedly, on the podcast last week, I can understand that not being monetised because the C word was used a few times. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, the way YouTube works is you make your videos, you upload them, you get the option to monetise them. And for like every video you monetise, for every person who watches at least 30 seconds of the adverts, you make a very, very minute amount of money out of that advert. And then when you reach $10, YouTube pays that out to your bank account. Now, I've never reached $10. I've just not had enough people see my videos, I guess. Still working on that, obviously. Hit 150 subscribers. I lost 4 subscribers this week. Not entirely sure how. I'm guessing it's because maybe they didn't like my last video. Or maybe they were just sort of a couple of fake profiles which have been cropping up on YouTube as well. I honestly don't know. But there we go. As for Natalie and Joe, hopefully we can get them back on the show next week. I know they've not had a great week due to things going wrong with the technology, along with not a great concert experience due to venue overcrowding, which is something I'm going to cover now. Natalie and Joe, if you do listen to this, I know you said not to bring it up with yourselves, but I want to talk about it anyway. And as you're unable to unfortunately join us, I want to cover this because I've gone through it myself. Now, as some of you will know from listening to previous podcasts, Natalie is a massive, probably obsessive Korn fan. I used to be that obsessive as well. This week I've spent mostly looking for their new album because I know I bought it, I know I've listened to it, but it seems to have disappeared from my CD collection. And I'm slightly concerned about this. In fact, I'm very concerned about this because, one, I want to really listen to it again, and two, I don't like losing albums. But anyway, Korn played London this week. I believe it was on Wednesday. Natalie and Joe went along to... I don't know what the venue was. I'm trying to think. They did tell me. But basically, they had a terrible experience because... Poor Natalie, she just didn't actually see Korn. She could hear them, but she didn't actually get to see them because the place was so packed. And what I need to say here is, if you do run a venue, stop overselling your venues. One, I'm sure there's safety regulations against that anyway, but obviously the promoters and that want to cram as many people as possible into these venues to make money, which is wrong in itself. And two, you've got people who are, I'd imagine for Corn, probably about 30 quid a ticket. So that's about 60 quid on 2 tickets, along with the travel from Southend up to London. It's another 20-25 quid each. So all in all, I say, right up to about £100, yeah? They've spent £110 to go see one of their favourite bands playing, and they didn't get to see them. Yes, they were in the venue. Yes, they heard them live, but they didn't get to see them. Let's face it, quite a lot of your concert experience is actually watching the people on stage performing, seeing the stage show, which helps you get into the music even more, because you start going absolutely mental. I've been there, obviously, with Fear Factory, etc. But as I said, I've been in this situation with overcrowding, and Natalie's not the tallest woman in the world. She's quite short, to be honest with you. So overcrowding obviously stops her seeing the stage, and she was heartbroken, to be honest with you. It's a terrible state of affairs. Now, my experience with it is, I've been at the front of a few gigs. I tried to avoid that because I suffer from fairly bad asthma. Well, being a geeky type, I guess it was kind of inevitable that I was going to suffer from some kind of health issue, and asthma's the one that chose me. But when you're not at the front, obviously your view is restricted. Now, I'm 5'10", 5'11" myself, more 5'10" than anything else. So I don't quite have the height issue, but when you go to a gig, and I'm sure all of you have experienced this, you go to a gig, says it's sold out, usually your first kind of warning sign, but generally you think, the venue won't have overdone this. Oh, how wrong you can be. I was standing there, I can't remember what band it was, it might have been Slipknot, back in 99, was probably one of the worst. Slipknot just come on the scene, it was their first full UK tour. It wasn't their first UK tour, because I played the Astoria a year before. But this is when they'd done the first official UK tour, when they played Brixton Academy, which I think might have been actually the venue that Natalie and Joe went to for Korn. And basically, the place was so packed. I suffer slight claustrophobia every now and again. That gig did not help me. I managed to make it through the gig. I enjoyed the gig. I did see that it was terrifying, along with people crushing me from all sides. Didn't really help. Obviously, one or two mini moments where my asthma almost started acting up. Not a great place to be in when you're there to enjoy a gig. And really, I just want to call attention to it, because too many venue owners and that, especially the big ones in London, just seem to keep doing this, and it is something that needs to be done. I personally think that, considering how much they paid and that they didn't see anything, that Natalie and Joe should get some kind of return on their money, as it were. I can't think of the actual word. A refund, there we go. I knew it started with R. Because they just did not get the experience that they should have done. That's absolutely ridiculous. Yes, I know we all go to venues, we all want to see our bands, etc. We all get excited for it. I mark out immensely with some bands. But at the same time, we want to be safe there. We don't want to be in danger of being crushed, of not seeing the bands and all that. And we want to know how money's been spent wisely and not technically wasted because we don't actually get to see the goddamn band that we have paid to see. So that's my mini rant on that. I won't go any further into it. If Natalie and Joe want to talk about it on another podcast at a further time where it's not quite so fresh in their minds, that'll be totally up to them, but that's my view on it. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments as well, along with everything else I bring up in this mini podcast, mini one-man podcast, as it were. Christ, my throat's really dry. Anyway, let's get into a bit of music news, shall we? As we always cover. So, going through, the music news, and I've got completely lost. Jesus Christ, this is good, isn't it? I had this all set up, right? Literally had this all set up, and now because I've put the damn thing in a window, it's all gone to shit. Where are we going? Oh yes, yeah, there we go. So, some of you, like myself, are into the old wrestling, as it were, and if you watched NXT Takeover last weekend, you would have seen the band Code Orange, not only opening the show with a pretty damn good track, but also absolutely nailing doing their cover of the entrance music for Aleister Black. I think it's pronounced Aleister or Aleister Black. When he was walking out to the ring. Done a really good damn job, but a really good live. Admittedly, the vocals could be a bit loud, and you could tell the singer was maybe a little bit nervous because Code Orange I don't think have ever played a crowd as big as that by themselves before. So you can understand, but it's my first time hearing Code Orange. I've had a few people recommend them to me. I've definitely got to give them a go, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, NXT Takeover itself I will get to a bit later, because obviously after last week, as you found out, I'm going to be going to be covering some of the wrestling things by myself this time, which means it probably won't sound as much as in the nose last week did. But last week was 4 hours long, and may have overdone that a little bit. Anyway, also it seems that Dead Cross, the one of the many bands that Mr. Mike Patton is in, along with the former drummer of Slayer, Dave Lombardo, that's it. This week at one of their shows, they actually started nearly playing South of Heaven and Rain in Blood during one of their gigs. So, yeah, bit of a tease, that one. Could this lead to Dead Cross maybe actually covering old school Slayer songs? Because surely, since he helped write them, Dave Lombardo has got to have some kind of right to the songs, at least to play them live without having to pay like massive royalties. Because surely some of the royalties would just come back to him instead. Be interesting to hear those songs sung as well by the vocal genius that is the one and only Mike Patton. Also this week, last week reported about Tony Iommi saying the recent Black Sabbath drama was all over nothing. Now Bill Ward has come back up, has replied to this, saying that here we go. He says he has to defend his actions. He feels he has to defend his actions, and basically there's a lot of things going on. Hang on, let's have a look. He's not gone into the full details on this statement, but he said in a letter to Tony Iommi, he said Tony commented, it's silly really because it was over nothing. I have to confront that statement. Can't let that wash into my life and my family's life and the lives of all those affected by an original band failure. It was something. It meant everything to thousands of people, including me. It will always be something, and it will always ring with truth and actual correct accountability. By saying it was nothing, honours the credibility to our fans and insults the very heart of what we all clung to, Black Sabbath. He says he regrets the loss of Ozzy's friendship and the loss of Tony's friendship during the last years of Black Sabbath as it was. Finally, and I've defended this many times, I couldn't play one gig or a couple of gigs here or there with a backup drummer or no backup drummer. To do that one gig would put me in an elitist position. I can't do that for all the other fans who couldn't see that one gig. Now, I'm kind of with Bill Ward on this one, because obviously he was a part of the original lineup of Black Sabbath, and yeah, he's right. You know, if you had Bill Ward, you suddenly found out that you paid your 80, 90, £100 for your ticket to see Black Sabbath, or how ridiculously expensive they were on The End tour, and suddenly it was announced, full classic lineup, only at this one gig in London. You'd be pissed if you weren't going to that gig in London. So Bill Ward's right. He should have done the entire tour if they were going to take him on. Instead of just saying, I'll do one gig here or that. He said many times that, he was more than healthy enough to actually drum, which is not something that's been really brought up again, but the band didn't think he was. And, well, it was a little bit strange. The other weird thing that he brings into question is that the last time he spoke to Ozzy himself was on January 23rd, 2012, asking when he would arrive in England to start rehearsals for the Black Sabbath tour. Now, what he brings up is, why would he say that if, when they were judging him by his performance level in 2011, if that had already been judged as not being good enough for the fans and good enough to play live? So, basically, Black Sabbath are over, they're at an end, but the reasons behind Bill Ward's non-involvement in the end of the band continues to be debated. I feel that there's something deeper going on there. It's a little bit weird. So, yes. Also, the bassist of Lamb of God, I really hope you liked the clean vocals on their last album, because it sounds like he said more clean vocals are very much likely for Lamb of God in the coming future. Lamb of God currently on a hiatus, not literally on a hiatus that leads to a split. They literally just need a break because they've had a mental last 5 to 10 years with a lot going on, releasing albums, touring, etc. Not enough time to themselves to recharge the batteries and everything. So fair enough, but they have said they're going to continue with the clean vocals, experimenting with their sound. I'm up for that, at least I haven't gone full bore on it like Suicide Silence did, where one day the one album they've got full on classic Suicide Silence sound. Next album, instead of just maybe 1 or 2 songs with clean vocals, nope, 90% of the album has clean vocals. And they didn't sound like they'd given it the proper time for those clean vocals to be sorted out right. So yes, that'll be interesting. And the man and band who keeps haunting the podcasts over the last few months, Five Finger Death Punch. Yep, Ivan Moody has returned to the stage after his stint in rehab. Now the question is, with all that's gone on and the amount of breakdowns he's had over the last sort of few months or whatever, you've got to wonder, is it too soon? Is it too soon to have him back on stage, and will this lead to another bust up as well? Gotta be interesting to see what happens there. Also, Dave Mustaine, who's been consistently at it since 1983, has said, even though he's 55, he said he's pretty tired, but they definitely have one more record, and that will include another 12 to 24 month tour. So we could be coming to the end of Megadeth's life. So yes, we shall see what happens there. I'm glad to hear that. Megadeth have been absolutely awesome about it. Obviously, Dystopia, excellent album. Whether you see it as better than the Metallica album is up to you. I do, but that's because I'm not a fan of Metallica whatsoever. And yeah, I hope that if they're only got to do one more album, which is fair enough. They're starting to. They're halfway to their 60s. Well, he's halfway into his 50s now, Mr. Mustaine. But yeah, one more record. I hope they can nail it again and leave us with something absolutely legendary that blows the rest of thrash metal out of the water, as has been the threat that Megadeth have been making throughout their entire career. In fact, they've managed it with albums such as Peace Sells But Who's Buying, and indeed Rust in Peace. So yes indeed. Let's see what else. So about Marty Freeman accepting the Bacon Challenge. I have no idea what the Bacon Challenge is. If you know what that is, fair enough on that one. Let's see what else. Oh yes, Amon Amarth have announced that they're going to start writing a new album soon. So if you're a fan of Amon Amarth, you haven't got to wait too much longer, about a year until a new album. So that'll be interesting to see. Listen to the last album, pretty damn good. Not as good as their old albums, like With Odin on Our Side and that, but still a pretty fun album. So there we go. The Misfits doing a one-off 2017 reunion show in December. Will this lead to more reunion shows? We do not know at the moment. Let's see what else is going on. Hatebreed doing dates to celebrate the 15 years since, 20 years. It's kind of a joint sort of tour, as it were. It's to celebrate the release of their very first album and their second album, two albums that really got them big as they were. And Cypherum have released a new song this week called Way of the Warrior that has a music video to it. I've not had a chance to listen to it yet, but if it's as good as their last song, which is something like We Pray for Metal or something, really fun stuff coming out of Cypherum. Looking very much forward to their new album. Also coming out soon, or it might be out actually already, the book by Brian Slagle, the man who formed, created, and is still running the legendary Metal Blade Records. He's got a book coming out all about the record label and everything. And I got to interview him a couple of weeks ago. You can hear that this Sunday on that metal station on my radio show, the Psychosin Project. That is on from 2 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. EST. Make sure you tune in, guys, because I've got a hell of a show lined up for you. And for those of you who tuned in for last week, I do apologise. I didn't do my show last week. Basically, I had a load of allergies kind of flare up that caused me to lose my voice. So, unfortunately, if you've got no voice, you can't do a radio show. So that was a bit of a shame, but unfortunately enough to do that. Obviously, back in full voice as it were now. And we shall see how it goes. And hopefully, I will be on this Sunday for the bank holiday here in the UK to bring you some good old metal for your bank holiday. What else has been going on? Let's have a look. Right, Linkin Park have released a statement saying the band is healing and currently building its future. So, there's no actually definite confirmation the band will continue, because obviously Chester Bennington was the face and pretty much the voice of Linkin Park for most people, and with his passing, I'll be honest, if the band does continue, I think it'd probably be better for them, their career, and for the memory of Chester to maybe start it under a different name. Because Linkin Park said very much Chester Bennington. You think Linkin Park, you think of that, the white guy, the white shaved head guy with the glasses sometimes, with that unique voice. That's Linkin Park to most people. If they continue, maybe go back to their original name of Hybrid Theory or something. Something connected to Linkin Park, but not outright calling themselves Linkin Park, I feel would be the best route for the band to go. I hope the band does continue, because I know Chester, despite everything, wherever he is, Chester will probably still want the band to continue, even without him. So hopefully they will continue, and they will continue playing the Linkin Park songs live as best they can. Also, I'll come back to that actually, can't think of it. I'll say this from all of us at that metal station and here on the channel. I just want to say we send our condolences out to the tour manager of Adrenaline Mob, Janet Rain, who was involved in that accident the band had the other week. She passed away in hospital this week at the age of only 48. I'll be honest, I'm looking at a picture of her. There's no way I would have guessed she was 48. Anyway, condolences to them, to her family and the band's families as well. Napalm Death is in the studio, apparently using trash cans as percussion. Interesting. I mean, not much else to know at the time, but yeah, it's interesting. They've posted pictures of the drums set up and everything of them in the studio, and there are a load of pictures of also mic'd up a load of trash cans. I don't know. The only people who would know really these days what they're doing is Napalm Death, and sometimes even that's doubtable. But I do love a bit of Napalm Death. New album on its way. I've still got to hear their last album because I'm one of those skint type people, which isn't the best way to live when you're trying to get music. But trying to review music and everything. Also, Trivium have dropped another new song this week called The Heart From Your Hate, and have announced that a new album is going to be called The Sin and The Sentence, and it will be out on the 20th of October. Looking very much forward to them. I don't know how you guys felt about the last album, but I personally, Silence in the Snow, that's it, I personally really enjoyed it. I've been on and off with Trivium, but I feel that the cleaner singing along with the really heavy metal riffs is the way Trivium should be going, and to have a whole album that was absolutely superb. So yes, very much looking forward to that. I might even try and get along to seeing them live this time. We shall see how my money's doing and how this job works out. Also, videos surfaced of Corey Taylor's first ever show with Slipknot. That's been floating about. Also, Dead Cross joined their show, considering what's been going on in America and everything. This week, Dead Cross brought up Dead Kennedy's Jello Biafra to perform the classic Nazi Punks Fuck Off, but of course they changed it to Nazi Trumps Fuck Off. So yeah, classy, but you know, Jello Biafra, man's a legend, absolute legend. So yes, you knew it was going to happen, wasn't it? Really, but yeah, always good to see that happening as it will. Right, now this should be interesting. This should be very interesting. Dave Mustaine reacts to people saying he's an arsehole. Now, he has replied to this. Now, this is quite a long statement. So, his actual comments to saying that he's a bit of an arsehole is basically this. This is his full statement from beginning to end. I look at it like this. The ultimate form of revenge is to speak the truth, and I try to be really honest in what I do, how I play, and who I work with. I don't lead people on. If I don't like you, you're going to know it. I think that's one of the things that the music business really needs. Someone who will shoot straight. We don't all need a participation trophy. There's a first place and everyone else is last place. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, if I would have signed up for Little League just to get a trophy like everyone else does, I wouldn't have done it. I think a lot of it comes from what is the award for achievement for things that we do. Some people want fame, some people want fortune. All bands have ever broken up over power, property, prestige, or pussy, the dreaded 4 Ps. You can't get away from it. It's just how it is. Bands together for a while, and it's just like that movie Spinal Tap. People say that's a comedy, and I love the comedic value of it, but the bummer is how true to life that is. There are so many things that happen in that movie that happen every day. It's not funny if it's happening to you, but it's happening to somebody else. It's hilarious. Like where they say, we're going to do Spinal Tap Mac 2, or we're going to have a makeover. I think you meant to say we're going to do Spinal Tap Mark 2 there, but anyway. Or there's somebody already in the organisation. All these things we've experienced. We've experienced all those things in Megadeth. Label tried to change our logo, tried to change our music, and then we ever had a band's member's wife try to get into managing us. Spinal Tap lives, man, every day. Well, what can you say? He's right though. There does need to be more straight shooters in the music industry. Seems to be a fair few too many sort of bands that go with whatever their label says. Now I'm saying this as a guy who wants to start a label. I will admit that, but a few labels that just make bands go down a musical backwater, change their sound, it's not the band you fell in love with. I mean, look at what happened to Celtic Frost back in the 80s, where they were doing this awesome, very, very unique kind of take on death metal, as it were. And then, well, Cold Fish happened. Or whatever it was called. I think it was called Cold Lake, sorry. Cold Fish? Cold Fish is Queen Adrena song, sorry about that. So, yes. Also, this week, and I could not be happy about this, the extreme black and death metal legends from the UK, Akakaka, I believe it's how it's pronounced, have released their first album today. Their first album in 10 years, that is, called Renaissance in Extremis. I need to grab this album, looking very much forward to it. We'll have to try and arrange some sort of interview with the band, because my god, if you've never ever checked out Akakaka and you like yourself a bit of the extreme stuff, go back and check out Goat of Mendes album. That album is an absolute goddamn classic. Also, sorry, I've just completely off topic here for a moment. Got a picture of Hammerfall just popped up on here. I've just noticed how much it seems like it's either the singer of Hammerfall is saying to Des Farfara, or Des Farfara is slowly saying to the singer of Hammerfall. Can't work out which is which, but I had to double take then to see if it was Des Farfara joining Hammerfall for a song or something. Oh dear. So yes, this is we're almost up to date on the older music news. I'll try to do this as entertainingly as possible, but obviously, what can I say? I kind of unfortunately things came to a head with regards to guests. Only about about an hour before I'd start recording, so I couldn't get hold of anyone else to come join me. So yeah, do the best I can. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Also, Arch Enemy today have released another new song from their upcoming new album, Will to Power. The new song, which also has a music video, is called The Eagle Flies Alone. And I've not listened to it yet. To be honest with you, I'm not listening to anything this week. It's quite bad of me, really. But yes, that is out. Literally got released only a few hours before I started the podcast. So there you go. Mastodon also released a video for the song Steam Breather, which apparently features smoking hot dogs, bad wigs, and skateboarding. That sounds more like a Steel Panther video. Surely. Anyway. New Enslaved album is coming out soon. It's just called E. So there we go. With the Dead's new albums coming out soon, they've released a new song called Isolation. If you've not checked out With the Dead, it is the new band that was formed a couple of years ago by Lee Dorian of Cathedral and two ex-members of Electric Wizard. So go check them out. Honestly, their first album With the Dead, absolute masterpiece. Honestly. Dimmu Borgir have announced about a new album. They say they've still obviously got something to prove. We shall see that. Maybe this could be the first Dimmu Borgir album I actually like all the way through. That would be nice. Kerry King, to end the music news off, Kerry King has given some advice to young bands. And that advice is very simply, whatever you do, don't suck. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, most bands don't really go out there trying to suck, But there we go. Yes, anyway, that is the music news for this week. And now, bit of film reviews for you. This week, thanks to my other half, after the tragedy of being put through what was it? The Zombiesaurus. That's it. Zombie bloody Saurus. She also lent me some other films that are a lot more fun. A lot more fun. As in they're actually good. So here's what I've watched this week. I have finally seen the Assassin's Creed movie. Now, I know a lot of people are going to probably angrily comment or say about how I'm wrong or how could you enjoy that. Honestly, one, there is about 9 billion worse video game based movies. Let's face it. When it comes to it, you've got obviously the classics, Mario Brothers, which was interesting because I tried to do something different, but paid a lot of bitching on set and all that, caused that to fall apart. The goddamn strange decision with regards to casting for Street Fighter, where, well, you've got the all-American Guile character. Who do you get to play it? The man known as the Muscles from Brussels. Last time I checked, Brussels is nowhere near America, or anything to do with America. So yeah, although that is a fun film in a terrible way. Alone in the Dark movie, that was a big old pile of wank. What they called? It's Blood Rain. Yeah, Blood Rain movies. They're not fantastic either. In fact, they're pretty goddamn terrible. I watched the first one in some kind of stupid hope that it would be good. Because, Alone in the Dark, going back to the original game on the PC, they made that into a movie, maybe ironed out some of the demons and monsters and rewrote little bits of it to make a bit more sense. That could have worked. That could have worked really goddamn well as a movie, No. Instead, they gave it to the destroyer of all dreams when it comes to video game films, whose name has gone out of my head. Probably because I don't want to remember his goddamn name, but anyway. Because he also ruined House of the Dead as a property. He's also ruined, he'd done the Blood Rain films. You know the guy I'm on about as well. That's the worst part. That Uwe Boll. Yeah, him. He directed Alone in the Dark. Also, we were supposed to believe that a certain actress whose latest exploits in film has been in Sharknado. I believe we were supposed to believe that she was a scientist. Yeah, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So, yes. But Assassin's Creed, to get back to the point, one of the much better video game based movies, probably because Assassin's Creed, the games themselves, have quite a deep lore and quite a good story to them. I won't speak about the gameplay because I do like the Assassin's Creed games, but I've got fairly boring recently. But yeah, I mean, for one, you got Michael Fassbender. Now, Michael Fassbender is one of my favourite actors right now in Hollywood. He's absolutely superb, and really, you got him. You got Marion Cotillard, I think is how it's pronounced, and the legend himself, Jeremy Irons, in it. I mean, that in itself is just like, if you're going to have a film based on the game, that gives you confidence that you've got these 3 seasoned, amazing actors in it. And then we get to the script, and the script pretty much is the game. The script gets it spot on for the first game. Admittedly, characters' names have changed. He's not jumping into the body of the character of the first game. It is a completely new character, so it's going the kind of Resident Evil route on the film route with that one, which is fair enough because not everyone would have played the games or at least completed them, so they wouldn't know what this is all about. They've got the Apple of Eden in there. They've got their version of the Animus, which makes more sense than the actual Animus does. They've got the Templars are in there. You've got everything in there, along with the bleeding effect is mentioned. Like I said, a lot that you would want to see in there is in there, along with the motto of the creed, which is nothing is true. No, everything is permitted. Nothing is true, or something like that. So yeah, honestly, really enjoyed it, and I believe they're going to go ahead with making a second film. I believe it's already been announced that there's going to be a second film and everything. So looking very forward to this becoming a bit of a franchise. Hopefully they won't go the Silent Hill route of where first film, awesome. Second film, rushed big old pile of wank. Really don't want that to happen. Also this week, I watched Arrival, which was very much a hard sci-fi film. Very much, basically, the synopsis of that film is aliens land on our planet and a language specialist is hired by the army to find out basically the intentions of the aliens, because they don't come to our planet attacking, they just stay on their ship and are trying to communicate, and basically you have to speak to them, find out why they're here. It gets a little bit confusing at the end, but once it gets explained, which it does get explained, you find out it's a very clever film. And then the last film I watched this week, another film I watched this week, sorry, was Nerve. It's a bit of a hidden gem, actually. I don't think it got released in the cinema, but it's about kind of, your old augmented reality games, as it were. It's kind of that mixed with, based on a game like that, mixed with social media. It's a game people can either be a watcher or a player of this game called Nerve. You sign up for it, and then you earn money, basically. People bet on you doing things, and they can set what your dare is, basically. So you get things like, I don't know, streak naked through a football football match is the word I'm looking for instance, or drive on a bike while blindfolded, reach 65 on a bike while blindfolded. Yes, that does happen in the film, and obviously you've got to film it on your own phone that you're doing it, just to prove it, so that people can watch you live. And yeah, it happens. It does happen. And every time you complete it there, you might make more money. However, there is a twist to it, and I'm going to leave it at that. All I'm going to say is Nerve. Seriously, check it out. Really, really good film. I think it's a bit of a one-shot film. They probably shouldn't make it into a series of films, but should have been bigger than it was. I don't even think it hit the cinema in the UK. But honestly, if it did, yeah. Technically, it's kind of a love story while not being a love story. When you watch it, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, honestly, it's not like there's dodgy acting or anything like that. It's very, very good. Okay, one or two lines of the dialogue's a little bit cringy, but what you say, it's like 50-year-old guys trying to write for teenagers and that. It's never going to turn out right. It's like when you played through the rather excellent what's it called? There was a game, like a 5-part game on the Xbox and that got released, and they've just announced the prequel, and some of the dialogue in that was goddamn woeful because of how millennial some of the language was. It was really annoying, but the game itself was, took a very sudden dark turn for one. It was absolutely goddamn superb. All I remember is you played a student who was a photographer, and it's gone out of my head. It will probably come back to me later. If it does, I will say the name of the game, because honestly, really goddamn good game. But it was done by Square Enix as well. It wasn't a Traveller's Tales game. I'm going to say TalkTalk's my network, like my internet provider. I'll be very surprised if they're doing games. I'm very worried as well. But anyway, yeah, Nerve. Go see it. And yes, the last film that people will disagree with me on. I watched Passengers, which is a film starring Jessica... Is it Jessica Lawrence or something? Let me just double check. It's got Chris Pratt in it. It's a sci-fi film, and I just want to check if it's Jennifer Lawrence. There we go. Her of the Hunger Game fame. Gosh, that's gone down in price quickly. Sorry. And yeah, basically, they're on a starship off to another world to colonise, because basically Earth's supplies are running out. The usual kind of sci-fi setup. Although it's not as bad as Earth's supplies are running out, it's just possibly overpopulation, and they found this other planet that is habitable for humans. It's about 100 something like 100 or 200 year journey. So all the crew, everyone's put into hypersleep. Something happens. The ship goes through a asteroid field, and Chris Pratt wakes up, and he's wandering around. No one else is awake. They're all still in their cryo things, and that's when he finds out that he's been woken up something like 150 years too early. And this leads to Jennifer Lawrence. He finds her in the cryo tubes, starts speaking to her every day, even though she's asleep, can't hear any of it, looking her up through the system and all that, has a year to himself. There's also a cyborg barman he speaks to, and he comes to a decision. Now, if you don't want spoilers, well, it's not a major spoiler, really. Basically, he's battling with himself whether to let her sleep or, with the technological know-how he's got, make it seem like her sleeping pod basically bugged out, and for her to wake up so he's got someone he can spend the next 80 to 150 years of his life with, because they haven't got the technology on the ship to get back to the back to sleep in the sleeping pods. And yeah, I don't want to go more into it, but there's that decision I've just said. That's a choice a lot of people seem to have had a problem with, along with one or two other bits that a lot of people seem to have a problem with the film. Honestly, I really enjoyed the film. I really thought it's good. It gets full recommendation from me. Really, really did enjoy it quite a lot. Admittedly, I do have a bit of a thing for Jennifer Lawrence. Maybe I have a bit of a thing for Chris Pratt too. No. But he's pretty damn awesome in it as well. Chris Pratt seems to be like becoming the man to put in your sci-fi film these days. Chris Pratt or Michael Fassbender. How long until they end up in a film together? If it hasn't happened already. And what's the betting that it's going to be a sci-fi film? Anyway, can recommend Passengers. So really, the only blowout film-wise over the last 2 weeks that I've seen was bloody Zombiesaurus. So yeah, cheers for that, Chelsea. And now we get into our final topic, and we'll go over wrestling. Yes, as I said last week, I've got myself back into the old WWE, and this week we had the NXT Takeover extravaganza, including the glorious one, Bobby Roode, but we'll get to that. And the results of that, first of all, if you've not watched it yet, watch it first before you continue with this podcast, because this will include spoilers. But first of all, Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling, his first pay-per-view as a solo star. Now, I've only been watching NXT for literally the last 2 weeks. Week and a half. So I went back a fair few episodes to sort of catch up on storylines, etc. Going into this. So I know a little bit. But Johnny Wrestling's not been in much of NXT for the last 6 weeks. So I've only seen him wrestle once or twice. We come out to a massive, rapturous reception from the Brooklyn crowd. Like, really awesome. Andrade come out with his manageress, who's just appeared one day with him in NXT. And honestly, really, really good match. Admittedly, not sure about the ending for the first match of your pay-per-view though, guys, WWE. Because, and this is where the spoilers are coming in, so if you don't want to know, turn off now. Basically, Andrade's getting basically dominated, as it were. And just as Johnny Gargano is about to do one of his finishing moves, the manageress throws a shirt at him, which I believe is of DIY, his old tag team. And Cien Almas comes in with a massive attack, pins Johnny Gargano, wins. Now, I'm not sure having a screwy finish like that is the best way to kick off a pay-per-view. Maybe the second match, but not so much that match. But all in all, the wrestling was good. It sets up well, it continues the feud between Cien Almas and Gargano, and the whole Gargano's rise from tag team domination to where he was then suddenly attacked by his former tag team partner, rise as a solo star. So we'll see where that leads. Also, it's quite nice to see them continuing storylines through a pay-per-view as opposed to ending them. I know pay-per-views are usually used to end storylines, and it does a few on here, but all in all, at least they're doing that. The next one was for the Tag Team Championship, the NXT Tag Team Championship. The Authors of Pain, the current Tag Team Champions, going into this match, versus Sanity. Now, I've been enjoying Sanity. Their leader, whose name's gone out of my head. This is fantastic. It's fantastic commentary, isn't it? But I used to watch him when he was in TNA with ODB. There's that whole thing of them getting married. I don't know if that was actually real or not, or probably not, to be honest with you. But yeah, they come down. It's a big fella and the usual like punky looking fella with a beard. However, when the match goes on, starts, and when the punky type fella goes to tag the bigger fella, I think it's Brian something. Anyway, I'm sorry about this. I should have looked this up really. I just need to remember. Eric Young, sorry, not Matt. Of course it's Eric Young. Eric Young, yeah. I think it's Alexander Wolf. Yeah, when Alexander Wolf goes to tag Killian Dane in, Eric Young suddenly jumps up at the side and says, "Tag me." Now, Killian hadn't actually been tagged at all in this match. So legally, by the rules of wrestling, they could just substitute Killian out for Eric Young, which is what they did. Eric Young comes in, totally throwing off at the preparation that the Authors of Pain had done. And there's a fantastic spot. Nikki was there as well. Nikki Cross, I love Nikki Cross. Not only because I think she's goddamn gorgeous and sexy as hell, but also because she's mental. She's absolutely mental. And she's got the wrestling chops as well. But I'll get on to that a bit later. But at one point, she's there. And well done to her for taking this bump, because honestly, everyone's outside. She comes in the ring. She's looking around the audience, doing her usual crazy-eyed stare. Gets on top of the jumps outside, jumps onto one of Authors of Pain, just there about to do an attack. Like literally leaps into him. The Authors of Pain catches her, but behind her is Killian Dane, and he comes smashing them both into an upturned table. And honestly, as much as people say wrestling is fake, blah blah blah, it's not that wrestling is fake. It's predetermined. I know that's an argument you shouldn't really use, but it's predetermined. But I don't care what you say. Some of that shit is going to hurt. Doesn't matter how much you learn how to protect yourself. Some of that shit has got to hurt. And Nikki Cross is only about 5 foot tall. Let's be honest. Being crushed between her and Killian, being crushed in the middle of Killian Dane running at you at full pelt, and one of the Authors of Pain, who is also rather a large gentleman, into a table, can only have her. In fact, she was laid out for the rest of the match. But she was pretty much, for me, she was the game changer in this match. It led to, I think, Eric Young got the pin, if I remember rightly. I might have that wrong. Becoming the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Honestly, that was one of the matches of the takeover for me. It's absolutely superb. Now, what I'm about to say next is something that a lot of people may argue with me on. But I said it last week. I found myself enjoying NXT more than SmackDown or Raw. I've just seen a few bad SmackDown and Raws, but anyway. I'm going to say this though. Takeover Brooklyn for me was more enjoyable and had a better card than SummerSlam. The matches were better, and just in general, it was a lot more fun. You know. So yeah, I'm enjoying NXT a lot more than 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 SmackDown or Raw. But we'll get to SmackDown and Raw later. Up next was Hideo Itami, still demanding respect from everyone, going up against the Dark Man himself, the one and only Aleister Black, who had Code Orange, who opened NXT Brooklyn. They opened it with one of their own songs, and this time they played Aleister Black's theme as he come out, walked through the band as they were playing. It was absolutely awesome, set him up fantastically. Hideo got a bit of an offence in there, but in the end, Aleister Black come out victorious. So there's a few botches in here. I'll be honest, I know Itami's got quite a following. Now, that's probably more from Ring of Honor, his days in Ring of Honor or whatever promotion he was in before. But for me, he's not come across as much of a larger-than-life character enough for WWE. It's probably why he's not been moved up. He's got the talent, definitely. But Aleister Black was definitely the better wrestler here. Even if one or two of his kicks seemed a little bit off the mark. But he hits Black Mass, gets Hideo Itami down, bang, wins, defeats him, setting up further Hideo Itami demanding respect. And next, oh god, this match. Now, I'll say that, it's not that it was a bad match. Oh, this was far from a bad match. But the result annoyed me. The result really annoyed me on this one. The next match for the NXT Women's Championship was the longest ever reigning NXT Women's Champion, Asuka, going against Ember Moon. Both women are absolutely brilliant wrestlers. Both women deserve to be moved up to SmackDown or Raw. I have no doubt in my mind on that. Same with Nikki Cross. I said that last week. All three, superb women. Just get them up there. Get them onto the main show. We might get onto that a bit later. Something's going on with Asuka, but anyway. Absolutely superb match, this. There's one or two maybe hesitations that maybe slowed the pace down a little bit, but Ember Moon really put her all into this match best she could. But the match did slow down a little bit as Asuka started working on Ember Moon's previously injured shoulder. Playing the mind games, but sometimes that does get a bit boring to watch, it has to be said. And after all the effort, after hitting Eclipse and everything, Asuka still won. And that annoyed me because I thought, surely, after all this, she lost last time against Asuka. Surely this is the time she defeats the streak, she gets the championship. Ember Moon, your new NXT champion. Nope. Asuka won. And I like Asuka. I do. But I think the championship went to the wrong person this time. And talking of Asuka, it was revealed the day after Takeover, or a couple of days after Takeover, Asuka had actually injured her right collarbone, meaning she was unable to defend her NXT Women's Championship, and indeed she'll be out of action for something like 6 weeks to 3 months, if I remember rightly, while she heals. This isn't a work, this is genuine, as has been reported today by a What Culture channel. Basically, they recorded NXT. They all the wrestlers come out. They all clapped her. She shook everyone's hand. Asuka. She also, Ember Moon went to shake her hand. Instead of Asuka pushed Ember Moon's hand away and gave her a massive hug. Now that just says to me it is a genuine injury. The reason all this happened is because due to the injury, Asuka has basically vacated the women's NXT Championship title. She's given it back to what's his name? William Regal, the GM of NXT. Fantastic GM, actually. Really, really happy to see him on there. And yeah, she's out. There's also been revealed she is in talks with the GMs of SmackDown and Raw. So, I think once her collarbone is healed, when it's probably gone quiet a bit and everyone's kind of not expecting it, there'll be a women's match, and just suddenly Asuka's music will hit on Raw or SmackDown, and everyone, the whole place will just go absolutely 7 shades of crap mental, and it'll be the return of the champion. Whether she will return to NXT for a couple of last matches or something, I don't know, but I think she's this is the last we've seen of her on NXT. But the other knock-on effect of this is, because she's vacated the title, technically she can go into SmackDown or Raw still with the title of, well, forever with the title of, at the moment, undefeated NXT Women's Champion, which is fantastic. It gives her a lot of steam for when she comes back, gives her a lot of running room as well. Also means that like she's got they've got that massive run of how long she was the women's champion as well in NXT. Don't know if that will ever get beaten for a long time, but yeah, when she hits SmackDown or Raw, it's going to be absolutely massive. Up next, the final match of the night: Drew McIntyre versus the glorious one, Bobby Roode. I've been following Bobby Roode for a while since watching him in TNA, where TNA were using him pretty much every week, and it was always Bobby Roode versus James Storm, which after about the 4th match you started to get really bored of seeing. TNA kept it going for another 4 months, but anyway, so yeah, I had a good match, McIntyre and Bobby Roode. Drew McIntyre has definitely improved a lot since he was originally in WWE. Bobby Roode always bringing his A game, playing the heel part to perfection, as he always has done. And talking of James Storm, actually, quickly, you know what would be really nice is if, with NXT, maybe Bobby Roode is in there doing a match, or one of his last matches, we'll get onto that in a moment, in NXT, and suddenly James Storm comes back and we get a rivalry there. That would be good. But I know James Storm has been on NXT or WWE before, and he walked out after a week or a month or something. I think James Storm is what is needed, though. Hopefully he's not blown his chance for WWE. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Roode, fantastic match. Absolutely fantastic. Bobby Roode did hit the glorious DDT. Drew McIntyre kicked out of it. And then Drew hit Bobby Roode after reversal with the Claymore. With the Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre wins. And then, the shocker, 2 people who debuted on NXT only the week before came out, started attacking Drew McIntyre, along with a new guy, James Cole, I think is his name. I don't know who this guy is. I'll be totally honest, I have no idea who this is. I've only just got back into into wrestling, so no idea who this dude is. But he comes out, beats him, and it ends with Cole and these 2 other guys reveling in the crowd reaction. And yeah, it seems James Cole is your new NXT wrestler, as it were. Excuse the talking in the background, it's just people outside my house. So yeah, all in all, I thought that NXT Takeover was absolutely brilliant, well worth seeing. The kind of thing that I could probably watch again quite happily. Yeah, I was kind of gutted about Ember Moon not winning, but the weirdest thing is, last week, me and Joe, we did our predictions about who we thought would win for every match. We weren't far off getting this 100%. It has to be said. We were not far off at all. So, yeah. What can I say? There we go. And then we get on to SummerSlam, which was the night after. And I'm just going to get the results up for that just to remind myself what happened. Now, as I said, with SummerSlam, I didn't think it was as good as Takeover. But that's me. So, yeah, there we go. once the site loads properly. And let's see if this is in order here. Oh yeah. We had the during the kickoff match. Was it the kickoff? Yeah. During the kickoff, the SummerSlam kickoff, we had a 6-man tag team, which was the Miztourage, Miz and the Miztourage, against Jason Jordan and the Hardy Boys. For the Intercontinental Championship. Miz is the Intercontinental Champion. That is not a easy word to say, Intercontinental Champion. Blah. Anyway, yeah, it's a pretty okay match, you know. The Hardy Boys worked well together as always, and Jason Jordan is coming to his own, done pretty damn well. I mean, he's still building up a fan base, as it were. Not sure at the moment if the whole Kurt Angle's son connection is going to help him or end up hindering him as time goes on, because people are going to start getting sick of him. But there we go. And then we had the Cruiserweight Championship, which was Neville against Akira Tozawa. Neville was the champion coming into this match. Another fantastically athletic match, but here's the thing. All through SummerSlam, in fact, for some of NXT, but not as bad, the crowd just weren't interested. And it kind of killed the excitement for some of the matches. There was an incident that happened later on with one of the matches that I'll get into when we get to that match. But yeah, it was strangely not as active as you would expect for a big wrestling match, especially a championship. And the Cruiserweights, it's been said by What Culture, it's been said by many people before me, you need to get behind these guys. You really need to get behind these guys. They put it on these massively athletic, energetic, high-flying matches and are just not getting the love they deserve. Anyway, another fantastic match with Neville and Akira won. He became your new Cruiserweight champion. Then we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, which was the Usos against the New Day. The New Day, the current reigning SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Pretty good match this, although one thing I will say is, how many times WWE do we have to watch the Usos and New Day? Christ, I got sick of hearing about this match back when I used to listen to a wrestling podcast, which was done by Spoonie, which some of you may know the name. He used to do the Wrestle program. And literally I got sick of hearing about this match, and now I get to see it every goddamn week as well. I know they both always put on a fantastic match together, but seriously, we need some new tag teams in SmackDown, surely, because these guys, it's getting dull. I mean, the New Day were energetic as ever. The Usos are both. It's another fantastic show. Don't get me wrong, but I think the crowd are sick of seeing it. I'm sick of seeing it. Come on. But the Usos walked out of there as the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So there we go. And then we got into SummerSlam itself after the kickoff, which was kicked off with the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Please excuse all the noise outside. I don't know what's going on out there, nor do I particularly wish to get involved. Of which... Oh no, hang on. They've missed a match here, I've just realised, don't they? This is how good the WWE site is for reminding me of what went on. They've got all these things sort of highlighted, but then they've forgotten to put some of the things actually up. Anyway, there's a match between John Cena and Baron Corbin. Now, John Cena's improved a lot since I last watched him wrestle, which was a fair few years ago, during his LOL Cena wins everything match. Now, the weird thing is, John Cena is always seen as a face. But then we got to this, and I can't help but wonder why. Why is he still seen as a face? Because of what he did to Baron Corbin the week before on SmackDown, where he done something to interfere with Baron Corbin's match, losing him. Oh yeah, that's right. Corbin cashed in the Money in the Bank. That's it. And as he was pinning someone. I think John Cena pulled the ref out, allowing Jinder Mahal to basically do his move and retain his championship. If I'm remembering that correctly, I might not be. Which is how this match happened. Now, surely that kind of thing, it's a heel move. Why is John Cena still seen as a goddamn face? Seriously, it was a heel move. I mean, if this is the beginning of turning John Cena heel, please go for it. It'd be fantastic to see. The guy's probably sick of being like the face all the damn time. So, anyway, up next was the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sorry, Natalya against Naomi of the Glow, as it were. Another fantastic match from the women here. Really, really energetic. Again, there's a problem with the crowd. The crowd is starting to stop supporting the women's matches as much as I feel they should be. With SmackDown and Raw anyway. And that's a problem. Yeah, you could see that these two women putting their heart and soul into this match, and they just weren't getting any support from the people watching, really. So, anyway, really good match. Ended with Natalya winning. She is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. And that led on to a match happening on SmackDown this week. And then the strange one that many of you have probably already heard about, which is Big Cass against Big Show, with Enzo Amore in a shark cage, suspended above the ring. Enzo Amore bugs the absolute crap out of me, and I've only seen him 3 times. So what does that tell you? Anyway, things I never need to see again. Just to add to this list is Enzo Amore in a shark cage, stripping down to his boxer shorts and oiling himself up to get out of the shark cage. No one needs to see that. I definitely didn't need to see that. Anyway, Big Cass did the match against Big Show. Big Show had his right hand injured due to something to do with the shark cage that Big Cass did to him the week previously on SmackDown, on Raw, sorry. Or SmackDown, whatever show they're on. I don't know. I'm still learning. But yeah, this was not a good match. It was very, very slow, very sluggish. The crowd were visibly bored. Not just audibly bored, but visibly bored. The most excitement in it was Enzo. Enzo got involved for about 0.5 seconds before Big Cass kicked him down. Big Cass wins. No one really cared. No one cared. I didn't care at that point. Even Big Show looked goddamn bored during this match. You know, the poor guy, he's probably thinking, you know, I used to be a world champion and all this, and now I'm fighting stupid matches for a guy I can't, like, hung above the stage. What's going on here? But then the energy levels did pick up for the Raw Women's Championship match. Sasha Banks against Alexa Bliss. Now, this is my first time ever seeing Alexa Bliss wrestle since getting back into WWE. This is a really, really good match. Really energetic. Few little hesitations here and there, and a couple of little botches, but all in all, really, really good match. One of the probably highlights of the entirety of SummerSlam. Alexa Bliss was beaten by Sasha Banks. She went into this as the Raw Women's Champion. Sasha Banks, if I remember rightly, Sasha Banks won by getting the bank statement hold on her, and Alexa Bliss tapped out, which means there's going to be another matchup happening at No Mercy. Which brings me to another point. I have a feeling WWE slightly ruined the ending of this match before the match had happened. The reason I'm saying that is before this match happened, they run their usual promotions, and one of them was for No Mercy. And it was Alexa Bliss. It was Alexa Bliss with the mask on, loads of Alexa Blisses in her at the front, singing NOMERCY for No Mercy, advertising it, without a title belt round her waist, and setting it, sort of saying that something like, are you ready or something. That kind of, to me, that kind of gave away that Alexa Bliss was going to lose. You know? Because surely, during that promo, she should have been wearing the championship belt and she wasn't. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me reading too much into it. Then next on SummerSlam, what was the goddamn point of this match? Randy Orton against Rusev. Did Rusev, like, accidentally crap in someone's, like, suitcase or something backstage? The guy's awesome. He deserves better matches than this. Basically, Randy Orton comes out and during his grand entrance, Rusev comes out attacking him with everything. 2 minutes later, Randy Orton's pinning him. I mean, why? What is the point? Why even have the goddamn match? You know, that really annoyed me. Because I was expecting a really good match. I've seen Rusev before. I know he's a great wrestler and all that. And I just felt he's not being given the time of day. Why do we keep giving these wins to Randy goddamn Orton? Thankfully, my anger was quelled a bit by the next match. The Demon Finn Balor against the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. I like both these wrestlers. I really, really do enjoy Bray Wyatt. I miss his sermons a little bit. His little sermons where he'd say a load of random crap, as it were, before coming on stage and everything. Admittedly, I'm glad they've got him out of some of the goofy stuff. We won't even talk about the WrestleMania match against Randy Orton this year, because that was higher grade levels of wankery. But this was a really good match. The ring psychology was going into it, all through it. Bray Wyatt wrestled well. Finn Balor played his full demon persona absolutely superbly, with his kip up and everything after taking, I think it was a Sister Abigail or something, and Bray Wyatt trying to get into his head with the backwards crab walk thing he does. And even though, again, at a pay-per-view, Bray Wyatt loses his rivalry and his match, it's just getting really boring now because Bray Wyatt really should be getting made into the new Undertaker. Really good match. So really, that to be a winner. And since Finn Balor has only just come back from injury, fair enough. Also, Finn Balor is a fantastic wrestler. At least it weren't like Bray Wyatt losing to someone stupid like, I don't know, Giant Gonzalez or something, you know. And then, I think it was to round out the night. Not to round out the night. Next we had the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Cesaro and Sheamus, the current champions, against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, the 2/3 of the Shield. I never saw the Shield wrestle, so I've never seen these two work as a team. Now, during this match, the thing we'll broach it now. During this match, Sheamus went bombing off into the crowd. No one knew why, and all you could see was him tearing apart this beach ball that's being batted around by the crowd. And you know what? Fair enough. Basically, these guys are putting their bodies, breaking their bodies in some cases, to bring these people these amazing matches and everything. And all night, as I said, it seemed a bit, the general crowd just seemed a little bit understated, as it were. And I can't understand why Cesaro got really frustrated. And then just seeing them disrespect all these amazing athletes, you knew someone was going to snap. So Cesaro done that. Admittedly, he can get away with it because he's playing into his heel persona as well. But all in all, this was a really good match. Both teams worked fantastically. One thing, however, I'm going to say now, because it happened several times as well on Raw and SmackDown this week. Can we stop, at least for a bit, every tag team match having the whole, he's tagged in, but I don't think the guy he's fighting saw that he tagged. That happens way too much at the moment, and it's getting dull. It is getting dull. It's good every now and again, but don't keep bloody using it. But yeah, Dean and Ambrose, Seth Rollins won. They are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. So there we go. Then you had your United States Championship match with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. Shane McMahon had said to both wrestlers, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, that is why we're going to be calling it right down the middle. If they start attacking him, I think he will get involved and he will attack them back. Now, AJ Styles at one point did bang into Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon did sort of realise it was just an accident. Then AJ Styles did push Shane McMahon at one point. Shane pushed him back. Same with Kevin Owens, started getting in Shane McMahon's face. He called it. But Kevin Owens at one point pins AJ Styles. Shane McMahon counts to 3, but then he realises AJ Styles has got his foot on the ropes and he cancels the count instantly. Kevin Owens goes absolutely nuclear, as it were, as is his right to do, considering. And then, it's AJ Styles gets a Styles Clash, I believe, and wins over Kevin Owens, which led to a match on, I think it was SmackDown, this week, where Kevin Owens got to choose the referee. Kevin Owens chose Big Cass. Big Cass was doing fast counts. Shane McMahon come out, became the referee again at the end, and AJ Styles won over him. And now Kevin Owens is not allowed to go for the United States Championship belt any time again in the near future. While AJ Styles has it, because it's just been excuse after excuse after excuse. So, yeah. Then we come to the WWE Championship match. Jinder Mahal against Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, this one got a little bit signposted. Because just before the United States Championship match, they'd done their usual sort of, like earlier in SummerSlam, they'd shown all the different countries' commentators. And yet, just before the WWE Championship match or United States Championship match, they kind of showed 2 more of the country's commentators. I think it was France and the Hindi speakers. The fact they showed the Hindi speakers and not the Japanese speakers during that segment was kind of, to me, foreshadowing, Jinder Mahal's going to win. You know, you got the guys here, you got them commentating, you can't let him lose the championship in front of them or something like that. And Shinsuke, his usual amazingly charismatic self. Jinder, he's an okay wrestler. Does he deserve to be WWE champion? No. He's a bit wooden on the mic as well. I know he's doing his best, considering he kind of got suddenly fast-tracked to the top, as it were, with no warning, essentially. But I think Shinsuke should have won this. He didn't. They gave it back to Jinder, which is unfortunate, but there we go. And then to round out the entire show, I got it right this time, was the Universal Championship, the Fatal 4-Way match. This was a pretty damn good match, even if it does have Roman Reigns in it. In the Fatal 4-Way match, your Universal Champion himself, the Ultimate Destroyer, Brock, because you've got to say Brock with about 7 R's, Lesnar, Roman Reigns, the most boring man in the world, Samoa Joe, and Brown Strawman or Strowman or Brown Stawball or whatever his name is. Strowman starts by going straight after Lesnar. There's a massive, fantastic bit where he literally puts Lesnar through 2 announcers' desks. Lesnar gets taken off on a stretcher in the middle of the match. The other 3 continue fighting. And then Lesnar comes back after about 10 minutes, angrier than ever, which is pretty impressive because we're talking about Brock Lesnar here. And he just starts dominating everyone. A massive fight between him and Strowman. Roman Reigns gets attacked. Lesnar goes absolutely mental. He starts getting attacked by Samoa Joe, if I remember rightly. Throws Samoa Joe off. Braun's knocked out in the at the side of the ring. And then Roman Reigns is going after him with his kind of cocked and loaded flying punch thing. He gets him. He doesn't do Suplex City, actually. He never took anyone to Suplex City this match. But he gets Roman Reigns, slams him down, pin 1, 2, 3. Brock is still your Universal Champion. And still part of WWE, because part of the stipulation was that if Brock lost, he would leave WWE. WWE, let's face it, we're not going to let that happen because Brock probably brings in too many viewers. So there we go. And that was SummerSlam. It was okay. As I said, some of the matches I don't agree with the booking. Shinsuke, I feel like they're still doing him a disservice. They really are. Surely Shinsuke's got to be the man to take the WWE Championship soon, because Jinder has got to be coming at the end of his run. He doesn't quite seem comfortable with that round his waist, if you get what I mean. You know? Whereas Shinsuke seems like one of the most charismatic people. He connects with the crowd and everything. He is one of your best wrestlers on that roster right now. Make him the WWE champion. Don't do what you did where you took ages to pull the trigger with Daniel Bryan. Don't do that to Shinsuke. I don't care if he's got heat backstage or you're angry at him because he made a botch or whatever. Make him your champion. Everyone will be happy and Shinsuke will be massive. It'll do you good business. And honestly, if this is about the Indian investors that WWE are worried about taking the belt off Jinder, those investors knew before they invested that you hadn't had an Indian champion. You know? Well, not for a while. You may have had in the past. And you know what? They were still willing to invest in WWE. They know how WWE works. They know that they can't always be pandered to. Don't keep pandering to them, otherwise they're going to get sick of it as well. They're paying into it because it's entertainment, it makes them money, makes you money. It's all good. It's all good. Shinsuke, make him champion. Come on. As for the Universal Championship, I don't know. I don't know who should make it. Braun Strowman would be good. He is the monster after all. Or, shock everyone, Samoa Joe. Stop trying to push Roman Reigns. For Christ's sake, you've been trying for 3 years. Stop trying to push Roman Reigns. He's improved, definitely. No one wants him. No one wants him as a champion. You've now partnered him up with John Cena in a tag team this week on, I think it was Raw. Because John Cena is now part of Raw. That's part of the other news this week. Well, there's a tag team, but it didn't work with The Rock. I don't think trying to push Roman Reigns with John Cena is going to work either. Choose someone else. Shinsuke for your like your face of the company or something, you know? Because Roman Reigns is not your one. At least not now. In another 5 years, maybe. But right now, Christ no. Hell, AJ Styles is your face of WWE. AJ Styles is one of your most talented athletes. Make him your face of WWE. Him or Shinsuke. That's what I would say there. So yeah, SummerSlam is alright. WrestleMania is probably better, and NXT Takeover was a lot better, a lot more enjoyable. I feel some of the matches probably should have gone on a bit longer, but got cut short because of how long they went to the Universal Championship match to go. Fair enough, time constraints happen. The only other thing I've got to address on this podcast, which is still about an hour and a half of me speaking at you, so Christ, is basically SmackDown this week. Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant because we had the debut of someone I had said should be brought up from NXT. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend, the one known as Rude, made his glorious debut on SmackDown, which means not only did I get his goddamn intro music stuck in my head during the intro to join his match to at NXT Takeover, I then watched SmackDown, and literally the way they do it is fantastic. It's I can't remember what guy it is. He's sitting in the middle of the ring. It's not the guy with the guitar. I don't know where he came from, but anyway, not the guy with the guitar. It's a bit weird. Elias, it's not him. It's someone else. He's singing. The lights then turn out, and literally you hear a small bit of piano, and then just spotlight down on Bobby Roode on the turnstile, turning him around, get the turnstile fixed, guys. It was still a bit wobbly, with his hands out and the whole glorious, and it was absolutely superb. I've not smiled that much about someone's debut on WWE since probably AJ, since the AJ, where we got to see Roman Reigns' derpy face. But anyway, although I did quite like seeing the Hardy Boys come back, but AJ I'd followed in TNA, and so enjoyed him while I've been back in wrestling. So yeah, all in all, that is what has happened in the world of music, wrestling and films for me this week. Hopefully next week it will not be just myself, it shall be others as well, and we will have some more updates for you. Hopefully you're enjoying the talk about the WWE, enjoying the talk about the music as well. You're just enjoying the channel. I'm doing my best to make the channel as good as possible. Hopefully with the fact that I've got the job now, well, almost got the job now, I've got a 2-week work trial, but then I'll have a job and start getting paid. I can start funding some more better things, maybe get some kind of capture device for the Xbox One and the PS4, start doing some video game reviews as well, and I'll try and get a few more videos up this week. Anyway, this has been probably the shortest so far Psychosin Podcast. I will see you next week, where I will not be by myself to speak more of this stuff with you. Let us know in the comments what you think of these podcasts, if you're enjoying them, if you're not enjoying them. And yes, as always, feel free to listen to my show on thatmetalstation.com every Sunday from 2 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. EST. Where this Sunday you can hear my interview with the head and owner of Metal Blade Records, Brian Schlegel. Is it Brian Schlegel? Yeah, Brian Schlegel. Sorry, there we go. Just wanted to double check I was getting the name right. So make sure you tune in for that. Hopefully I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you on the channel next time. Have a great one, everyone.
I turn to face it.